Hello, fellow viewers, and welcome to a new series. Excuse me. Welcome to a new series called Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion Battlestar Galactica mod. Now, in this playthrough, this game can typically take a long time. Sometimes it can take days, it can take weeks, it could take months to complete one game. However, we are going to be playing against the AI, and I move rather fast against the AI for reasons best known to myself. However, there is a very good chance that I could be teamed up on and eventually taken out of the equation entirely. We're going to do a large map, 82 planets, 3 stars, max 8 players. 10 players tends to be really, really laggy. 8 players can be laggy, especially if they have a lot of carriers that are carrying fighter craft, which is something I like to do, is carry a bunch of fighter and bombers, and we'll get to that. You'll see my strategy here. My strategy is quite different from a lot of videos that I've seen. Most people take their fleets and they just smash them into the enemy as hard and as aggressive as possible and hope for the best outcome. I, on the other hand, I have a very different technique. I am going to play the Cylon Loyalist. I always play the Cylons because I don't believe in the Colonials. We're going to make the Cylon Rebels. We're going to make Colonial Separatists. The Separatists are going to be teal. I'll explain teal in a second. I make the Colonials teal because their ships are apparently, their armor is apparently stronger at low levels, but at high upgraded levels, the Cylons have the Colonials beat 5-1. It's just getting your fleet to that level before you're attacked or bombarded. Anyway, so we're gonna make Vasari Rebels, Tech Rebel, Tech Loyalist, Vasari Loyalist, and Colonial Defense Forces. Now, teal. Explaining teal. I don't know what the developers did in this game for teal, but for some reason, and it doesn't matter what level teal is. It can be easy, normal, hard, vicious, cruel, aggressive. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to leave him on normal or normal random. So, normal random. If he ends up on aggressive, normal random, he will have a fleet assembled within 45 minutes to an hour of gameplay, and he'll already be attacking people. It's almost like the developers took the most brilliant Asian mind related to strategy, and they personalized that person's mind into a computer-generated AI form, and they applied it to teal in this game. Because for all intents and purposes, teal is very hardly ever defeated by the AI or by other players. I used to play this game a lot with my little brother. He doesn't really care for this kind of game, but it's not because he doesn't like it. It's because teal always picks on him or targets him. Probably because he doesn't have a big enough fleet and enough planets to really defend himself against what teal has at the time. And I'm always usually in a game with him, and I strike deals and diplomacy packs and trade packs and credit packs and stuff like that with teal. And then like an hour later, my brother would be like, "Hey, you wanna stop kissing your buddy's ass over there and kill him?" And I'm like, "What you talking about?" And he's like, "Teal's beating me up." And I'm like, "Why didn't you say something?" He's like, "I'm telling you now." So Teal's an asshole. Just plain and simple. He's a dick. So we're going to try and get the jump here in the beginning. I can move pretty quickly. I don't know how long this series will go. I don't know how long anybody wants it to go. Leave me a comment and let me know. Other than that, I'm pretty much just going to be playing. And don't mind me talking to myself or talking to the computer, as I tend to do that quite a bit. it just helps me know that, you know, I'm still here and I'm still with it. Okay, this the first thing we need to do is build a science node. Now this blocks out all logistics, and we can't build anything else from this category.
A colonizable planet exits the void. End of line.
Can't build. Need to turn that down a little bit. That's kind of loud. Again, every game is different. I've noticed as far as volume is concerned. Like we were playing Mud Runner, and the volume's pretty good. And I've got my headset on talking to you, and walking you through the game with me. And
a colonizable planet exits the void.
I can hear the trucks, but barely hear the trucks. As long as you guys can hear the trucks. In this game, however, I can hear a lot. Oh yeah, fleet logistics.
Planet exits the void. End of line.
That's still rather loud. Let's get it down.
Structural integrity of node 7 restored.
Cylon boarding party. No, we want organic armor. And then we need a resurrection ship, because that will colonize the resurrection ship is used to Cylon occupation. It's used to colonize planets. We're gonna get like 6 of these. Little light base stars, mostly because they do shoot missiles, like in a repeated rate. And then it breaks like for like a second or two, and then it shoots again. But the important thing is, other than the fact that it does shoot, and it is a pretty weak base star. I mean, it's a light base star. It's only got 1,400. But see how it has one unspent command point? That is a raider squad. Now we can have a fighter or a bomber. And normally I won't select those until I have the entire fleet together. And then I'll select all of these units together. And I will create a fleet. And then they'll just all move together. As soon as this is done, we can move on. Let's find out what we've uncovered. We've got a planet here with a couple of rogue colonials. This needs Arctic occupation. This needs
Apotheosis was the beginning before the beginning.
Gas occupation. Yeah, that's one thing. This is a mod, so the Cylons can, being that they're machines, even though they look human. Ooh, that's nice. I like that. We might go here first, and then here, and then here, and then back to here, maybe. That's only got two. Well, it depends on how fast we get gas occupation, but I think we should go here, and then here. Because I think we can get Arctic right now. Nope, we need one more. But if we take this planet, we can build another science node, and then we can get Arctic to get this one. Gas. Ooh, that's going to be a while. You're not going to be able to get that for a while. Let's just go here first, since we're already sitting here. No, we're not. We're sitting down here. Flip. Alright, well, screw it.
Structural integrity of node 7.
You are going to be the capital owner.
You lead them all to their end.
Replace internal control accumulators 4 through 19.
I guess it wants to make that one the thing, which that's fine, whatever. I'm going to have the fleet all loose because I don't want my ships bunched up taking area effect damage from bombs and rockets and missiles and all that. Anything that explodes with an area of effect thing, so I keep my ships kind of loose, so they're not really, they're kind of spread out, but they're not spread out. They're spread out enough to, you know, if one of them takes damage or something, then the explosion area effect is only like this big. It'll barely touch them. Excuse me. Alright, so now we're just gonna, since we don't have enough to get gas occupation, we're gonna go here and take this planet first. Then we're gonna come back, and then we're gonna go here and take this one, and then we're gonna research Arctic. We're gonna go here and take this one, research Arctic occupation, then go here and take this, and then go here and take the Arctic planet, and then I guess we'll move out this way. I'd like to know where the pirate base is, honestly. And I'm going to make 4 of these just because they're going to eventually die anyway. Like they're not equipped with any weapons or anything. I think they might have an auto cannon that does like 2 or 3 damage. Which it isn't nothing. However, before we jump, we need to let the starships build. Let them build them. We'll watch these guys do their thing. Exploring. But yeah, I need to know where that pirate base is. I mean, the star is right there, so the pirate base is going to be somewhere it could be this planet right here. Oh, that is an interesting jump point.
Fleet engagement detected. Resume function.
Huh. It could also be this one. I mean, I want to know where it's at. I don't want to jump into it with this small fleet because that'll pretty much be game over, because we don't have the economy or the amount of money that we need to rebuild those capitals. So if we lose them, we lose them, and then that's pretty much it.
Circulation, ventilation, control. Circulation, ventilation, control.
However, I'm going to upgrade these 2 capitals.
Replace internal
max.
control accumulators 4 through 19.
Progress reports arriving.
Alright, we're ready, so let's go.
Recharge compressors.
I'm gonna jump over here. I mean, we can't really research anything. I mean, honestly, we can, but we need 4 science nodes to be up first before we do anything else, because then we can unlock the trade port, and we can put those trade nodes in each system, and then the trade ships will run back and forth trading, and it'll make us even more money. Until we get the economy off the ground, we can't do anything. We gotta, pretty much micromanage our little fleet here. Now, this is my strategy. My fleet of ships will not, well, most of them, some of them will warp in, and then they'll like micro jump over here or some shit. I'll have to get them back. But my capitals and support ships will all sit at the edge of the gravity well, the combat zone, and I will launch all my raiders and bombers to intercept their raiders and shoot their bombers down before they get to the fleet ships, while my bombers, take their stuff out. I'll be moving back and forth between this view and close view. Once we get into big battles, I'll sit in the middle of the big battle and kind of just do this number and just kind of let you see like all the stuff that's going on. But for now, that's not necessary.
You lead them all to their end.
Organic armor, we want expanded hangars. Another. Get some more fighters and stuff out there.
Structural integrity of Node 7 restored.
Can't build that yet. We want you to have a weapon virus. That will send a weapon virus to
Circulation.
enemy
Ventilation.
ships.
Control.
Recharge compressors.
Yeah, that'll send a weapon virus to enemy ships, disabling their weapons for a short time. Later on, I'll get a ship that'll give us a couple ships. I'll get my Titan, which, if you've seen Battlestar Galactica, you should be able to figure out what the Titan is for the Cylons. If you haven't, I'm not going to tell you, and you'll just see it when it's built. It has a logic bomb, and it can disable an entire fleet of enemies at one time if they're in the blast radius. And basically what it does is it turns all their weapons off. It's basically it's a Cylon logic bomb. It's a computer virus. It infiltrates the network and it shuts down all their systems and weapons. So effectively they can't shoot, and their ships just sit in the space that they're in and kind of spin in a circle,
Integrated.
defenseless.
Colony established.
Now we've gained another colony, so the first thing we need to do is build a science node. I think that only gives us 12. Yeah. Effectively, I can build another station, I think. Alright, now I can't build anymore because I need space for the trade node. But I can build all of this.
Progress reports arriving.
Circulation. Ventilation. Control.
What do I want?
Planet upgrade complete.
I think we want more armor right now. Every time you build a new craft, it launches it automatically, so you'll have to let all of those, whatever you built, say you get 10 extra bomber, or you build 10 extra bombers from either an upgraded ship or new ships additional adding to the fleet. When you build those bombers or fighters, they automatically launch. So you'll have to release all of those bombers or fighters, whichever, or both, and then just like I did, just quickly put them back in order to dock them all. Otherwise, you'll have all of them docked and you'll have a couple flying around. And in the vanilla game, as the vanilla races, which are also in this mod, because I have them activated, if you leave your fighters without docking them from the vanilla base factions, they'll get left behind in the star system behind you, and then you won't have them in the next star system. It'll show that they're launched, but when you put them in, it'll show that some of them are still out, and you won't be able to get back to them without jumping to them or detonating them in that system so they can rebuild. So be mindful of that. In this, however, I can, if I know I'm jumping into a dangerous place, like I know for a fact that there's a lot of ships there that could possibly get the upper hand on me, I want every advantage possible, obviously. So what I'll do is I'll line up my ships at the end of the gravity well and I'll jump them, and in the middle of the jump, as they're jumping, I will launch all of my birds, so that when I come out on the other side, they're already launching out of the tubes. Like the moment I hit the gravity well, they're launching. They don't have to wait for nothing. When you first launch them, they launch and then they kind of hover around whatever capital ship or ship that they came from for a second, and then it takes them a minute to notice the enemy's inbound, and then they start moving, which can, cause you damage to your fleet. However insignificant it might be, that shit adds up. So by doing what I do, by launching them while they're still in hyper warp or FTL, when they hit the new planet core, they automatically disperse and start heading for the enemy like immediately. They don't wait around and like, oh, there's the enemy and they're already up on us. No, they're already, once they hit the gravity well of the new planet, they're already gone. Like they're already launching
Jump complete.
toward the
fleet
enemy.
has arrived.
So it actually saves you damage. Not total damage, because obviously, you know, their ships are going to be firing at your fighters and shit, and you're going to be taking damage. But fighters rebuild automatically by themselves, and some ships, depending on the level, they rebuild instantly upon destruction. So I don't worry about how much damage I'm taking to my fighters and bombers, because they rebuild on their own. These ships, the capitals and support ships, do not rebuild on their own. At some point in the game later, we'll get another, not going to tell you. If you've seen the series, you know. If you don't, I'm not going to tell you. We'll get basically a facility that will bring back our dead ships if they're linked to it. But they have to be within the vicinity of it to be linked to it, and then they can go anywhere. And if they die, then that installation will resurrect them. But I don't really care to use it. I just put it around just for decoration, and I disable all of its auto abilities to bring back combat fleet or support fleet or capitals, because they may not build the support ships and capitals that I want, that I know are effective in hindsight, because I've played this game a lot. I know what ships are effective and what aren't, and sometimes they'll just build a bunch of random support stuff that it's not really going to do anything. I mean,
Integrity of node 7 restored.
the upside is that the AI effectively attack ships in order of size. So if I have a bunch of really small proto-stars out here that aren't really doing much damage, they'll shoot at those first before they'll shoot at the big ships. So while my big ships are hammering and pounding the crap out of their capitals and stuff, their capitals are all focused on my little stuff. Now see how it took them a minute to realize that, oh yeah, there's stuff out there? Now in the next system that I jump into, which is this one, I will launch my fighters. I mean, I don't have a lot. I'll launch my fighters about when I'm about right here. When they get here, they'll automatically take off toward the enemy. And you'll see the difference. Another reason that I leave my fleet at the edge of the battlefield is because I want the enemy to come to me. My fighters and bombers are going to be released immediately, damaging their stuff that they want to fight. They're going to have to trek across, trying to shoot down the fighters and bombers and taking significant damage to get to me. Meanwhile, this also means that my fleet won't just move around the battlefield doing whatever it wills, getting all split up and, thinned out to where the enemy can, pick off sections of the fleet at a time. This keeps them right here, so they come to me and then everything fires on them at one time, and I don't have to worry about them really moving.
Circulation, ventilation, control.
Yes, I only have 9 bombers and 14 fighters. That's because teal, as well as a couple of the other colors in the game, they like to build strike craft as well. And if I don't have enough strike craft to counter their strike craft, then I'm not going to have anything to shoot their strike craft and bombers down, and they're going to shoot down on my bombers before they can do any damage. So as much as I like the bombers because they do damage, I have to have significantly more strike craft than bombers in order to balance it out so that I can keep my bombers alive. Sometimes I'll just launch sometimes I'll launch the strike craft first. Let them take out a good portion of the enemy's strike craft, and then I'll launch the bombers that will overwhelm with more power than they can handle.
Structural integrity of node 7 restored.
Alright, this is a node. It says it's a node 18, but it's actually a war. It's a war star. Battle star. Alright, battle star, base star. It's a war class base star. It its upgrades include Cylon boarding party, organic armor, and expanded hangars. This thing can sit at the edge of the battlefield and launch its fleet of massive raiders at the enemy, and almost have to do absolutely nothing, and just watch its fleet of raiders take out the enemy. If I built nothing but these and upgraded all the hangars, the game would be so laggy that it would probably crash.
Circulation, ventilation, control.
And usually when I play with this many
Recharge compressors.
AI, or against this many AI, or anything for that fact, because there's not a whole lot of multiplayer games. There is, but if you don't have a record for multiplayer games, that's the thing. The community for multiplayer is so small that if you don't have, like, they can see your stats for the game, and if you don't have decent stats or you haven't played before, you pretty much get kicked out of the game or out of the lobby because they don't want noobs. So as much as I have played and as much knowledge as I have on the game playing the AI, and as much as I've learned, they still won't even let me take that knowledge into a game. They just assume that I'm going to be wiped out. Because, you know, they don't know me and they don't know that I play strategy games. But, you know, it is what it is. Alright, so I'm going to launch in mid-jump.
Jump complete. The fleet has arrived.
Let's see how they're already gone. As much as there's not a whole lot of them. But they were able to take out 2 ships before they ever got close. No battle stars, just a gun star. A couple gun stars. I can turn on cinematic mode. It shuts everything down, all the icons. So it actually looks like all those nukes. Those are nukes. The red-tipped ones are nukes. The white-tipped ones are just Tillian missiles. Which Tillium is obviously a form of gunpowder. Of such, used to fire the weapons. That's the bombers. They launch nukes. Just base warheads, level warheads, but they're still more powerful and more damaging than the Tillium missiles. But the Tillium missiles are shot in Not from these. This is just a resurrection ship in the colony establisher. This is just a fleet ship. Once I get the actual base star capitals out here, when they start launching their artillery missiles, they start launching missiles. I'm talking the screen is filled with missiles. That's what the Cylons use. They use pretty much missile-based weapons. I mean, they have armaments like, you know, bullets and shit like that, but they don't really... They don't really use bullets per se. They have a thing for missiles. Cylon boarding party.
Progress reports arriving.
Okay, upgrade that. Resurrect Raiders.
Circulation, ventilation, control.
Okay. Now we do Arctic. And we go
Rechargeable
here.
buses.
Hopefully by the time they get to the planet, the research will be done and we can just take it and go. Alright, there's the pirate base. Look at all that. We can't see it because we don't have any ships in there, but we had a ship in there, a scout, and it revealed, it looks like about 5 minutes ago or so, all of that stuff that's in there. Now this fleet that I have right now, this little tiny planet taker, will not take out that pirate base. We will lose everything. Like, they will come in there and they will
Research
just
assimilated.
launch everything that they have, and that'll just be all she wrote. Now
Thank you,
later when
Colony
we have a bigger
established.
fleet, that won't be the same sad story. We'll be able to jump in there at a certain point and just lay waste to the entire
Shuttle
area,
monitored malfunction
taking
trace.
minimal losses. Alright, now we just gotta wait for
Replace
them to get
internal
over
control
there.
Accumulators 4 through 19.
Now that this is built, we only have 3. So, we build one of these, and then the trade port's unlocked. Then we build a trade port. Then we go back here, and we build a trade port. As soon as those upgrade, they'll stop losing us money. Gotta make sure that we upgrade the civilian infrastructure, because if you don't, the planet
Structure
will
online.
be underdeveloped and it'll be costing you money.
You lead them all to their end.
Alright, this is an undiscovered
upgrade
world, but we're gonna
complete.
jump here anyway, simply because it's probably just rebel colonial forces. And just to be safe when they all launch. I will launch them while they're in hyperspace, because they won't effectively leave the ship until they're actually in the gravity well, but they'll launch immediately. Hopefully there's not a whole bunch here.
Structure online. Jump complete. The fleet has arrived.
That's a little more than I was expecting, but that's fine. Cinematic mode. Look at all the
Planet
destruction.
upgrade complete. Research assimilated.
That one's probably we're probably gonna lose this one. Okay. took over one of their ships and had it briefly, and then they destroyed it.
Structure online.
Which is fine by me. Take over their stuff and get them to target their own stuff. Works for me. Research greenhouse occupation. Yeah, see, this ship has been shut down. Oh, sorry. Because we boarded it.
Research assimilated.
Progress reports arriving. Recharge compressors.
Okay. We'll go with expanded hangars. That's 20 and 12. 20 fighters, 12 bombers.
Integrating. Colony established.
Progress reports arriving.
Okay, well, we know the pirate base is right there. So what we could do is go this way.
Track mode monitored malfunction traced.
And we'll actually send
Go
this
ahead,
Berserker escort star in
Right
there
away.
by himself as a scout and take him out of the fleet.
Progress reports arriving.
Circulation, ventilation, control.
We're going to build all these science nodes and all these weapons nodes because we need to catch up. We already have 5 science nodes.
Jump complete. The fleet has arrived.
Yeah, that's a little more than I can handle at the current moment.
Planet upgrade complete. Fleet engagement detected. Resume function.
So
Prerequisite research fault.
oh, we need that thing to die first.
Your systems leaking.
Planet upgrade complete.
We need to upgrade our fleet capacity and our capital ship capacity.
Structure online.
Apotheosis was the beginning before the beginning.
Now, once we get the base star out there,
Replace internal control accumulators
will
4 through
change.
19.
Planet upgrade complete. Research assimilated.
Apotheosis was the beginning before the beginning.
depending on where they're going to go. Okay, they're going that way. I want charged missiles. I want some of these.
Apotheosis was the beginning before the
Some of
beginning.
these.
Research assimilated.
Bioenhanced structure.
Structure
Yes.
online.
This.
Crystal deficiency fault.
Apotheosis was the beginning before the beginning. Apotheosis was the beginning before the beginning.
2-1 advanced filtering. Pardon my cat in the background. She's always whining.
Apotheosis was the beginning before the beginning.
Always whining, huh?
Apotheosis was the beginning before
Yep,
the beginning.
always whining. Alright.
Apotheosis was the beginning before the beginning. Progress reports arriving.
Research
Adding
assimilated.
this to the fleet, this base star. Actually, I think I want to add another one.
Apotheosis was the beginning before the beginning. Apotheosis was the beginning before the beginning.
Oh.
Jump.
Structure online. Research assimilated.
Replace internal control accumulators 4 through 19.
I need to
Research
destroy that
assimilated.
protostar. That's why I detonated it. I need to gain back 7 points. There we go. Now I can make the base star.
Research assimilated.
Now all of this stuff is coming through here and it's all going to join up with this fleet.
Circulation, ventilation, control.
Research assimilated.
Structural integrity of node 7 restored.
I will wait until they all get there because then they'll all be upgraded at the same time.
Research assimilated.
You lead them all to their end.
They don't look like much, but they're significantly bigger than the light base star, and still significantly bigger than the heavy base star, which I will get later, which carries 3 strike craft, bombers or fighters. metal is 5.7 a second, 2.3 for the crystal, and 35.2 credits a second for income. And that's not a lot. A lot will be later when we have, you know, around 150 credits a second. And something like 10 or 11 crystal and metal.
You lead them all to their end. You lead them all to their end.
As soon as this base star gets there, we can jump into here and cause mayhem. Right now it's just kind of waiting around. And effectively we're not really not gaining anything, because as we're waiting around we're building money, which we're going to need later. Actually, we're going to need soon, because I already got 5 planets. So Teal has probably already noticed that I have 5 planets, because he's probably allies with someone over here that has probably scouted me and noticed that I have 5 planets and I'm building a significant force. So Teal or someone will be trying to attack me here shortly, probably within the next, half hour. Not exactly sure how long this episode is going to be. Probably until something interesting happens, and then we'll end the episode, and then I will record another one later. And I just will upload this one later today, and then I will record the second one, and I will upload it the day after.
Ventilation. Control. Replace internal control accumulators 4 through 19.
You lead them all to their end.
Okay, so I have 20 bombers and 26 fighters. I should probably have more fighters, but, alright, I think we're just about ready to go. And while that's doing that, alright, when we upgrade fleet capacity, when we upgrade capital ship capacity, it does not increase our upkeep. Capital ships do not have an upkeep price. They just simply don't have, you don't have to pay for them. Once you buy them, they pay for themselves. Support ships and everything that's not capital, you do have an upkeep for. Right now we're at 9% because we have the first one. The next one will cost us 19% of our income and so on. And then 25%, 38%, 47%, 50, 68, and then 75. So by that point, if we need that, 75% of our income will be going to fleet upkeep. But at that point, we should be in the close to the millions in credits. And metal will never get to the millions unless the game stretches out over months' time and you're just alive that long. But we'll have enough credits to make up for the deficiency in metal and crystal, regardless of what happens. Alright, now We're gonna research the base star carrier, and we need this, and this, and this. That's good. Then we need this, and this. This will significantly increase our filtering process for our
Circulation.
our
Ventilation. Control.
crystal and metal. Alright, we're gonna jump here, and I'm gonna release before we even get there, because I'm definitely gonna need them to just start, unless they're already still at the edge. We need the fighters and bombers to like really be on their stuff.
Jump complete. The
Yeah, and
fleet
they're not
has
there
arrived.
anymore, so I need them to launch immediately, as it were. Like, those guys kind of sat there for a second, but as soon as these guys
Research
jumped in, they were
assimilated.
gone. And as soon as they took off, everybody else took off. Right. We'll go into cinematic mode because I'm confident that with this fleet and these base stars, see, look at those Tillian missiles, and those are the nukes. I'm confident that with this little upgraded fleet here that we can do this and not have to worry about taking significant losses. As much as they're trying to take out my light base stars.
Research assimilated.